Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Game 2 now of Alliance versus Bears. We just saw in Game 1 Alliance very confidently take the victory with their Limp TA and Loader Troll Warlord picks. I'm ODPixel, I'm here with Andy, aka Draskell. The draft has begun. Andy, I'm speaking assuming that you're there and we can hear you. Can we hear you? Are you there?
I am indeed here.
Beautiful.
I never leave, Owen. I just wait.
Perfect timing. We're back in. The draft has begun. Alliance once again opening with the Centaur. Bears, though, trying something different this time around. They're opening with the Earth Spirit Timbersaw. And Timbersaw, of course, with Bears, we've been seeing Fada take it a lot of the times on the safe lane, haven't we?
Yeah, it's a really nice hero, actually, because it fits, I think, the playstyle that Fata has as a safe laner a lot of the time. I mean, I guess last game was a bit of a diversion from that because he played Lifestealer and spent, like, most of the game infested into 4ev, but a lot of the time, I think Fata has like really good map awareness, and if you abuse him, he can split push like a monster, and Timber's kind of that really good hero as well. Also, great natural counter against Centaur, and Alliance has been first picking it fairly often, actually both games, like you mentioned in this series so far. But I think one of the other issues, I was thinking about it after having watched the first game, they really had like no wave clear at all on Bears. Like they had a really hard time pushing out the lanes. So this time, they get a hero where they're like, okay, this hero can kill some freaking creeps. And that way, they were having a hard time pushing the lanes out, and the reason they didn't have vision is because Alliance were always the one, Double Edge can actually kill the wave very fast, TA can kill the wave very fast, Troll not so much, but, it's kind of like the same as a Lifestealer. So Alliance always had the wave push advantage, and there were a lot of times where Bears were looking for picks where they just couldn't find it because they had to go back and D-push. So this time around, they're not going to have the same thing happen. Timbersaw alone is already a good step in that direction. But Alliance, immediate answer with the Skywrath Mage, really good against both the Earth Spirit and the Timber.
Yeah, and it's always an interesting one, Skywrath, because, again, that's another hero that, I mean, at least in EU, no one really else would touch upon, but Alliance, they like to pick it up. And as you said, it does certainly have the strengths against these two heroes. I mean, other than that, why pick it up this early, though? Would Bears really have banned it out? Or is it just the case that Alliance, you don't want to reveal the rest of your cores or anything else too early?
I think it's a bit of that, and also the synergy with the Centaur. Because if you get the Stampede and the Stomp, you can throw out a Seal on somebody, Ancient Seal plus Centaur combo, and a Mystic Flare. That hero's probably dead. Like that's an insane amount of damage. Even a level 1 Ancient Seal now is what, like 30% increased magical damage, so that's already it's better than a Veil for one skill point on the hero. So it's ridiculously strong. He also has quite a bit of lane presence. He's super fast. And a lot of heroes, if you're not landing rolls on the Skywrath Mage or whatever all in killing him, he's just going to be throwing those arcane bolts at you. It can be super, super frustrating.
Our third pick for Bears. We'll see if we're going to continue to see something a little different or if they go back for anything in Game 1. The real Firo Invoke obviously being banned out. It's going to be interesting to see what Firo does decide to play instead. I'm trying to think. Can you remember what else have we seen for it? Because it really does seem like most of the time, it has been the Invoker really that Bears have fallen back on.
That's like I think his best hero actually is the Invoker. I mean, I'm sure he can play the other standard mids. We've seen SF from time to time, and there's other heroes too. Like TA Limp played last game. I think is actually kind of coming back into the mix as well. There's a lot of choices, but that is definitely I think his go-to on the Invoker.
Oh, Bears. We'll pick up the Venge here. And
they need a tower hitter on Bears. That's kind of where I was leaning more towards the SF or the TA, because I think they need some kind of physical damage. Right now, it's like the Venge. It could be a Venge core actually.
I mean, I'm looking about it. So I mean, yeah, because we normally see Fada play the Timbersaw, but it certainly is a hero that could appear in any of the lanes. We could see Ferrer play on the off lane. We could see Firo take it to the mid lane if there's a matchup that they like. So I guess Bears do have that versatility, but I think ultimately
they haven't.
Yeah.
They haven't seen the safe lane hero yet, and they haven't seen the mid, so they're still trying to decide what would be the optimal lanes.
Yeah.
Like, I think if Bears are given the opportunity to where the Timber can be a nuisance in the off lane, then it's probably fine to send him there, because he'll always just get his farm if it's the right circumstance. But if it's like a crazy hard lane, like a Skywrath and some kind of safe laner with a disable or damage, like Jug or whatever, then... Oh, actually, Jug's banned, but you get the idea. If it's a safe laner that can actually threaten the Timber, they'll probably just put it safe lane.
Let's see what we're going to see, whether they are going to refrain from revealing their cores Alliance. So rather smart to do so as well, because of we were mentioning with Bears how they may want to think about reacting to what Alliance has coming up to lanes. And it's just their second support to be picked up. Rubik is selected. So Bears now, what will they do? They kind of certainly have to think ahead to what alliance is going to be finishing off their draft with if they want to have a good, strong answer. And as you say, you still feel they need someone to hit towers.
Well, both teams do, actually.
Yeah, both
I mean,
teams
look at
actually,
Alliance.
yeah, that's true.
They're both lacking in the physical damage department right now. And I mean, I think Dota's kind of been leaning that way since 7.0 because the game is just so fast-paced. You want the heroes that are going to be able to abuse the early game the most, and typically that's magical damage heroes. So you get a lot of them, and then you get like 1 or 2 cores that actually deal physical DPS to hit buildings. And yeah, the SF comes out from Bears. Not really much of a surprise. It's actually great once BKB's out against pretty much all of Alliance's heroes so far. Rubik and Skywrath become useless pretty much, and the SF can siege, so it kind of rounds out what Bears had nicely here.
Yeah, absolutely. I always like to see the Shadow Fiend when it's got a lineup where there's a lot of control, and you've got exactly that with the Earth Spirit, the Venge, even with the Slow for the Chakra and the Timber Saw. The Shadow Fiend's going to be able to stand there and get those right clicks out, hit the raises. Alliance keeping to the good old Luna, and that is a game-winning hero, isn't it, Andy?
I like Luna a lot here, actually.
Yeah.
I was kind of thinking in the back of my mind they might go like Clinks or something, but then I wasn't sure if Loda was super familiar on the hero. I don't know how often I've seen them play it. But Luna offers the 5-man potential. It gives you the Eclipse as well. So you're going to be able to stand like toe-to-toe in these fights against, the Timber, the Earth Spirit, the SF throwing out raises. It's a lot of burst. So you kind of want another hero if you're going to be running a Skywrath Rubik combination that can kind of abuse the early game fighting potential by being able to push on top of that. So Luna fits that criteria perfectly. I really like that pick.
Yeah, so it certainly does feel like another very strong, well-rounded lineup from Alliance. But at the same time, I feel that Bears, I like that they're doing something totally different from Game 1. It just seems that they've got so many more ways that they can play out this game, whereas, as we talked about in Game 1, they were so... they needed to find those pickoffs. They needed to get the ball rolling early, and maybe it was one of those drafts that's a little overconfident. You feel like you are going to have the edge over your opponents in the laning stage, so you are going to be able to get away with that kind of play style. But yeah, they change it up at Bears, and already with the first 4 picks from both sides, it feels like we're going to have a much more even mid-game onwards.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm not looking at one team and just saying, okay, if this team gets X item at this time, the game is just kind of going to get really hard for Bears. Like in Game 1, we mentioned at the very beginning, it's like, okay, you're playing against Troll TA. When BKBs come out, your game is going to get real difficult.
And it pretty much did, didn't it? That was it.
Yeah.
When those BKBs, as we mentioned, as saying beforehand about those BKBs.
Yeah, but this time around, Bears got the physical damage on lockdown with the Shadow Fiend and the Venge together. They got some pure damage coming out from Timber. I think it's also really important nowadays in this patch to make sure you have a decent split of damage and not just all in on one specific thing, because it's very easy to itemize that way. So Alliance, they're going to ban the DS, so they want the Luna to have an easy lane, rightfully so. So they're assuming that it's going to be that Timber safe lane like you were talking about earlier, and it's probably just going to be the mid SF with the Venge ES support. So we're looking at 4 Evs hero then for Bears, and Alliance are potentially picking Limps.
Let's have a look. What can they grab for Limp? What does he want to play up against the SF? It's going to be the Ember.
Ooh. Okay. This is actually... So Ember versus Shadow Fiend is one of the more interesting matchups because you actually see it a lot in pub games. Because everybody likes playing SF, and everyone knows that Ember is really strong in pubs at the moment. And it's kind of like the first couple of levels are super important for the Ember. And the SF is always going to be able to go back and farm if he ever has a bad lane. So I think it's actually... If the Shadow Fiend gets help, the lane is crazy hard for Ember.
Dude, I'm wondering, is there any chance the Bears go for the clockwork and go for the cog abuse to make sure that SF gets that good start in the lane against the Ember?
I think it's a really hard clock game, actually.
Okay. So
it's a crazy hard clock game because you have Skywrath Mage ulti. If you have a hard lane, then you're not going to have a quick blade mail. There's so much magical burst damage. You're just hooking in to die, basically. That's what the clockwork would do in this game.
What about the Forever Beastmaster?
Beastmaster gives good vision, good for the push.
As someone who's played a few times this qualifiers.
Yeah, I think Beastmaster is actually pretty solid. I like that. He also has the potential to just go to the woods if his lane's crap, which is why I would actually say the clockwork is even worse, because he's not that hero who can just go to the jungle. Yeah,
with some sort of maybe even the Nyx Assassin to help catch out the Ember, blow up the Scarif Mage.
Yeah, Nyx is great as well. Different different sides of the coin though. They're actually going to go for the Weaver.
So would you say that's going to be the Forev Timber and the Fada Weaver?
Yeah, they could switch it up. Maybe they think that the Timber is actually going to be able to get something in the safe lane. I would think that that lane would actually be kind of difficult, but if they want to do like a 2-1-2, it would probably keep both of the supports of Alliance busy, and it would give like the pure 1v1 to the SF and the Ember, which I think helps the Ember a lot. I don't think any outside influence in favor of the Shadow Fiend is just going to ruin, you know, Limp's life. That's a really hard matchup if the SF gets ahead. So maybe they Bears do want to do the dual off lane and just send like the Weaver +1, and then just have the Timber safe lane still. I guess we'll find out here.
Yeah, they've certainly got a couple of ways of working it out, but overall, is there a draft you prefer this time around?
Ooh, this is a hard one actually. I think I like Bears a little bit more.
Okay.
Just because I think that, you know, given the right circumstances, the Weaver can have a really standout game.
Yeah.
And I think that the supports on Alliance, like this is the biggest reason why I like Bears, is because if the Rubik and the Skywrath are playing on the team that's behind against the Weaver lineup, they're going to get shredded by the Weaver. Like, he's so effective at being able to get into the back and just crush heroes with low armor like the Skywrath and like the Rubik. So if Alliance aren't playing from ahead on those two here on their whole team, those two heroes are going to become food. And that's my biggest fear. So I think that Bears, given the early game they played in game 1, I think that they've shown that they know how to abuse their lanes and how to win them. And I think based on that fact and their lineup that I think they'll be taking this to a game 3.
See Alliance getting a ward down in the mid lane and heading over with this smoke. They want to try and go aggressive. They've of course got a very, very nice level 1 kill potential. If they can get the telekinesis, at the moment who's down here? Forev, at the moment alone, keeping close to the tower. Alliance will have the smoke wear off. There's no wards of course yet from Bears around this neighborhood, so they still have the chance to get a jump on someone. It depends on when they stick around. Already the line's been drawn from Alliance, and maybe we'll just back it off. We'll see if they want to stick around to protect this rune and take it away from Bears down the bottom. And it looks like they probably will do so. Yapsor has to be careful how he comes around here. But now the pings come through, and Bears, they are aware of Alliance's presence. Loader will be able to get the tower. And the rest of them we'll back up. EGM and Handscared still remaining here, so they're going to be able to play around with maybe one of the supports that they head up. But yeah, Bears just seem very aware of what's going on and aren't going to be caught out by it. And looks like lane-wise, they switched it up. They looked at the start like they were thinking about putting this Fada's Weaver on the top lane and Forev on the safe lane down the bottom, but now they switch it around. Mid lane though, I say they're aware of Alliance's presence, but EGM and Hansken, they're going to get the wraparound onto Firo, and with the chains, that's going to be a dead SF, and Absol, can he get anything in return? Looks towards Limp, but the Fairy Fire comes through, Limp's going to be fine. And Alliance there with the first blood, as a lot of patience from the two supports pays off perfectly.
Yeah, that's a really fortuitous kill. Fortunately for Firo, he only lost like half a wave. Okay, they're going for Limp. He's got raid skill.
Look, good change there to hold them back. And that might just save his life. EGM coming across the raise. Won't be enough to finish off Limp. Limp survives. EGM may not be as fortunate. He's going to try and get himself up towards the shrine, and he will make it back safely. So Alliance, make sure they don't give anything else in response. Top lane, interesting lane. We've got Forev and Fada sticking together, trying to work at getting a kill.
This is not what I expected. Okay,
it's musical
away.
lanes
there
here.
We go.
Yeah, from Bears. Yeah. We just had Fada. They started top. He moved down bottom when he saw the situation. Now they put Forev. They really want to get this Timbersaw versus the Centaur matchup, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, well, not only that, but the Weaver can actually lane up here against the dual support. They can't kill him. They're just going to move Handskin as well. They're like, yeah, whatever. There's a shrine up bottom lane. Just going to go down there, going to pop it. Try to give Jonas and Fan the advantage by having the additional harass from the Skywrath Mage. But this has been a lot of movement so far from both teams. You can tell how important the laning phase is to both of them.
Yeah, huge focus on trying to get the matchups that favour them. Mid lane, favour them even at the moment between Firo and Limp. Limp does just have that little bit of an XP advantage because of that first bird. Actually up on the bottom lane, it looks like because Hanskin have rotated down and Forev did not expect it, the combination of the two of them was enough to catch them out. Top lane Fada moved in onto Loader, forces Loader to TP all the way back to base. So as expected, this presence of the Weaver on the top lane is making it very hard for Loader to farm, and they're going to switch it up again. Jonas and Fan comes back in, TP's up to the top, and Loader, he's making his way down bottom.
Yeah, I guess they're favoring more that Loda has an easy time, because Weaver against Luna is kind of tricky. And middle lane too, Firo. He's getting 3-man ganked again. He'll be dropping here.
Yeah, the
This
side
time he
lanes
actually dies to creeps.
are kind of just avoiding each other, but yeah, mid lane is definitely good news for Lim because of these
But all this
ganks.
confusion on the map is actually favoring Alliance because their heroes are so much better at getting the early kills on the Shadow Fiend.
Oh
Like, it's
my
very
goodness.
hard actually to kill Lim.
And of course, again, Bears respond. They've got Fada down here. They've sent Forever up top. When will it stop? It's who is going to kind of be the one to come and say, all right, you got the lane that you wanted. Bottom lane. Alliance killing off Fada as they drop down the sentry. And I feels like Bears are going to be the ones panicking more with this lane situation because Alliance,
Yeah,
they're coming out one step ahead.
So much. Yeah, they're losing out a ton actually. Like, the SF is falling behind. He's already died twice. You know, the Centaur is leading the overall CS. Loda's actually third as well, in addition to having all those kills. Like, this is...
Yeah.
It's really bad for Bears right now. They need to stabilize the laning phase, try to get some successful rotations. Like, YapzOr just simply hasn't been able to keep up with the movement. Like, he's just not been there. Firo's died twice. I mean, he did get the roll in onto Limp, but he wasn't able to get the return kill. And if you don't have, you know, the Venge and or YapzOr in the area, you're just simply not going to get a kill.
On top lane, once again, Hansken. We saw this down bottom. They got away with this combo, getting themselves a kill. And it may happen again. If Jonas and Fan could get in with the initial Who Stomp, Karev could be in a lot of trouble. Bottom lane, though, is all going to kick off as Bears. Try and make it go onto Alliance. They do have a good boulder smash from YapzOr. Secure one kill. At the same time, though, the move will be made up top. And they'll take down the Timbersaw. So Alliance, they may have lost a support, but again, it's them finding a better trade. They'll take down Forever on the core Timbersaw.
Man, the Ancient Seal double edge combo is so nasty. Like, 325 base damage on a level 3 double edge, and then you put the Ancient Seal with 35% additional magic damage taken. Like, that is just insane. He's not even maxing his other skills. He's just maxing Ancient Seal.
Yeah, certainly realizing the power of it. And you want to be careful as your Forev, because guess who's heading up there again? It's Hansken. And there's actually no Radiant Ward around here. So Forev he's up here blind, and with 3 members up, he's a goner. Loda, he's wanted to come over to join in with a bit of the fun. And again, they bring down Forev. And Alliance are just tearing these lanes apart.
They're getting everything they wanted. Like, they picked a Skywrath with the sole intent of being able to deal with the Timbersaw in the laning phase. And
it's perfect.
Granted, Forev, he's up there in the CS, but if he keeps dying like this, it's not going to matter how many creeps you hit because your deaths are just going to keep you at a low amount of gold. So, I mean, he is level 5 at 5 minutes. Maybe he can make some turnaround here. Middle lane, Firo.
Limp coming in. Firo tries to remove the Flame Guard. Has YapzOr coming across as well. Level 6 is there on Limp. Jumps forward with the Remnant Burst. And once again, Firo being taken down the 3rd time in the mid lane. And this time, it's a little scarier because Alliance, they didn't need the 2-man support rotation. All they needed was EGM to come and have a look in to set that one up.
Yeah, it's Limp's level 6. That's what kind of sets it off.
Yeah.
He used all 3 remnants there to secure the kill. So the burst damage of the Ember Spirit goes up drastically, and like you mentioned, only needing the 1 extra hero. But if you look at the map, like the ward that was just placed on that hill from Bears, they had no vision on the top side of the map until just now.
They really didn't.
So that's why it's so difficult for Forev to actually be up here, because they can't keep tabs on the supports. And because the laning phase was so freaking chaotic, everyone was TPing everywhere, it's really hard to know exactly where everyone is at all times. And that just gets them killed.
Bottom lane. Looking towards him, he does have Stampede. And,
nah, he's dead. There's no way.
There's no way he can play as well. That one top lane though, the silence comes towards YapzOr, tries to roll away. Is he going to make it? Alliance, this time they come off on the lower hand of the trade, as it is Bears securing themselves a bit of action that gets Fada involved and takes down Jonas and Fan on the offlane Timber, on the offlane Centaur.
I gotta say though, this Skywrath is doing a ton of work. It is important to keep in mind though, as we mentioned, that this time around the shoe's kind of on the other foot in regards to who has the better mid to late game. And Limp eating some raises here, looks like he'll be fine. But those supports need to keep doing work on Alliance. That's the important thing.
Bottom lane Jonas and Fan, I think he's just going to go and find himself a solo kill there. One more touch and he does. He'll be able to stampede in, just take Adam's life right in front of the face of Fada. And nothing that this Weaver could do to stop him.
Yeah, Bears are like, this game is... It's kind of hard at the moment, but you look at the Weaver, you look at the Shadow Fiend, like, Fata and Firo are still getting a decent amount of farm. regardless of how many times, you know, Fearo's died. Shadow Fiend's one of those types who's always going to be able to recover because he has the capability of flash farming the jungle. You know, he holds items fairly well, and he can add to the siege. And Bears just say, you know what?
Oh boy.
We're just going to send everybody.
Handscan, there's no way he keeps himself alive here. Chakram into the boulder smash. Try and duke it out and make them work for it, but no way he survives. Handscan taken down by the smoke. Fada trying to move forward, seeing if they can get more, but they don't have Adam close enough to get a magic missile off, so Loda will be safe as he keeps himself away from the smoke gang. So they get a kill. They will try and transition it by the looks of it into a tier 1 push, but it is just a support falling for Alliance. And in fact, Alliance immediately coming back in, smoking up. They want to fight.
Yeah, they got the courier as well, Bears, but yeah, they have Eclipse, so they want to try to make something happen here.
The flames
Fada will come forward, and well, immediately there's going to
dead.
be the Ancient Seal into the Eclipse. Fada, no chance to get his way out of that. They'll find one. They want to chase down more Limp. Jumps forward with the Remnant, has the chains onto Adam. Good boulder smash from Yapzor. Will hold back the rest, but there's the double Remnant once more forward again. And Limp with the Flame Guard and the right clicks claims a second life of Bears. Once again, Alliance initially losing that one support, come back with a smoke, and instantly buy back on 2 and getting that value kill as well, bringing down Fata on the Weaver. As he went for a very ballsy move, Shikuchiing into the Skywrath. I mean, surely he knew it instantly Handscan was going to react after he came out Shikuchi with the Ancient Seal.
Well, I think Aloda was still smoked for a decent amount of time before he came out. Maybe he didn't notice until he threw the auto attack on a Handscan. And then he's like, oh god, there's a Lune here, I'm just dead. I think that's probably how it went down, because originally, I think he just wanted to break the smoke and then run away. But then he saw one sky and didn't notice the Lune yet, because it was night vision, right? Like, Loda was standing really far back to a point where he might not have even seen him at all. I'm just guessing that the smoke broke a little bit late and maybe he didn't notice fast enough, but yeah. As soon as that happens, Ancient Seal into Eclipse, dead Weaver. It's just an unfortunate circumstance for him.
Bottom lane Unison fan. She wrapping around. Forev has to be a little bit careful, as Hansken is now in the neighborhood as well. Level 6 at the ready, of course. If they can stampede in and close the gap on someone, these two have got an awful amount of burst damage. Awful in the good sense, of course.
Yeah, awful as in you're dead if you get caught.
And here we're going to have a demonstration as Yapso comes up. He's got the Shrine if he wants to use it to try and save himself, and it's not going to work. And it's not going to work whatsoever.
That combo is actually disgusting. It's so much damage.
Yeah, Scar Centaur, yeah. You can see why Alliance... I mean, it was their opening 2 picks, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, they saw the Timber,
yeah.
I think. Yeah, the Timber was the first or second pick, but they had... Yeah, Bears had second pick, so they picked the Earth Spirit and the Timber together.
And Bears have to be careful how they hold this, because there's Eclipse in 10 seconds. Adam will swap back for Rev. They don't obviously have Stampede still on cooldown. Yeah, loaded with Eclipse. Alliance are going to feel confident taking a fight if it comes around. Bears on the mid lane are trying to finish off this tier 1. It's very low. They should be able to. Well, actually, they're backing off. They're very scared, and that's going to mean Alliance should be able to get the deny in this tower. So a little bit of gold taken away there from the side of Bears. Top lane, Fada playing around with Jonas and Fan. He isn't going to have quite enough damage to bring down this boy. He has the completed hood. Jonas and Fan is pretty big at the moment.
It's really important to keep in mind, though, like, even though there's a 9-kill advantage for Alliance, if you look at the golden XP, it's not really that impressive. Like, no towers have been taken from the side of Alliance. They haven't been able to get any of the map control, whereas Bears, they've taken mid, they've taken the safe lane tier 1. And it's 11 minutes in, and that's with them being 9 kills behind. So when I was saying, like, it's kind of the shoe on the other foot, it's Alliance need to kind of keep up this consistent pressure and try to snowball that into towers and map control. That's how they're going to win the game. If they let the Weaver and the Shadow Fiend just continue to farm, there's going to come a point where it's really tough to fight. And for Ev, I'm not really sure what the game plan was with that TP. Kind of just TP'd into death.
Yeah, he was hanging around there, and I mean, Loda, he literally, with the Helm of the Dog, he just waltzed the Centaur up to the Timber, and then, of course, the Lucent Beam just allowed the Hoostomp to connect, and once again, just the Ancient Seal burst that allows Alliance to succeed means that this Timber, it's a bit of a sad Timber, died 4 times so far this game. He's well and truly been dealt with in terms of draft and in terms of the way that Alliance are playing.
Yeah. Did he actually TP in, by the way, or was he just standing
No,
there?
I think he was hanging around. He was already there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I
was
thought I
already there.
TP'd because I saw Adam and Yapsor TP to the tier 2, and I just figured they were going to try to defend the tier 1.
Yeah,
but-
yeah, his TP's not on corner. Yeah, he was just sitting down on that bottom lane.
Okay. All right, so yeah, just getting caught out. That should be a tower, I think. Let's see.
Yeah, for sure.
Does
This tier
Firo-
1's so low.
Does Firo want to TP? Well, the thing is, they expended Eclipse. So even if they take the tower, Bears might still want to try to do something, but Fata
Okay.
doesn't have a TP. So the Shadow Fiend has a TP. They saw the Centaur showing on top a second ago because he just killed the creep wave and there's a ward there.
They do have
So they might
Stampede,
try to
though.
do something.
So it could be
We'll
hard
see.
for them to get the catch on. Yep, so indeed they are absolutely going to try you. Bang on. Can they get the catch? They'll look towards the Scarab. Bottom Smash gets this Rubik. But there's your Stampede. And it's a good spell. Centaur
not
pretty
bad.
nice at saving your teammates' backsides when you're on the other side of the map farming a Blink Dagger.
Yeah, the roll, if it hit, I think they probably would have gotten the kill regardless. Oh, no, Adam. You are not a... Oh, my God. the
Rest in
damage.
peace. Ancient Seal, boys.
Even the Fade Bolt. Like, Ancient Seal Fade Bolt is still 320 base damage, right? Like, that's just nuts.
He's got, especially with the magic missile, Ancient Seal magic. Pharaoh, does he want to demonstrate how quickly you can die? Do this magic power? Is he going to survive it? It looks like they have the follow-up burst. Hanskin's actually out of mana. That's what will do it here and allow Pharaoh to live. He does end up losing a couple of infused raindrop charges, but he survives. And I want to say that infused raindrop very close to pretty much saving him there. And just fortunate that Hanskin didn't have mana for the ult, because that would have ripped him to pieces.
Yeah, he had 2 charges used there, so he would have been quite a bit lower. And the unfortunate part was the magic missile that he stole is only level 2, so
Oh, okay,
that's
so damage-wise,
that's the main reason why he didn't die. But yeah, it's kind of getting to a point now where you're starting to see, even though Alliance have like this crazy burst damage, you know, Bears are still managing to find farm on other heroes. Like Firo is sitting at the top of the CS and the net worth with like 3 deaths during the laning phase. And then Fata is pretty much neck and neck with the Weaver, and the Timber is just a little bit behind on the net worth scale. But, you know, Forev on that with the Hood now purchased, he'll be a lot tankier to the magical burst damage that they have. And that's one of the other reasons too why I was mentioning, as we see the smoke up here from Alliance, that their lineup is very heavily predicated around that one thing. So when your magic damage stops working because Pipe and BKBs come out, your team starts to feel a lot more difficult to execute in these fights. So they needed to keep up the pressure, which they're trying right now.
With this warder, they spot Fear out. Are you ready to see some fail Ancient Seal action? Here we go. Goodbye,
My
sir.
God.
Goodbye, sir. I mean, if Alliance have the vision and can move around like that, there's just no hope for the Shadow Fiend in terms of playing around it. These smokes are going to get a kill every time that they move into the jungle. And top lane, as you can see, Alliance just using this Stampede to try and disengage, get away from Forever and Yapsor. And they'll be able to do exactly that. It's pretty key for Jonas Fan as well. Very close to the Blink Dagger, less than 100 gold, so absolutely crucial that he didn't go down there. And he will get that Blink Dagger very, 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 very shortly.
Yeah, he even bought the Hood beforehand, so he's feeling pretty confident.
Yep.
When you're having a good start, you typically want to make the Hood first on the Centaur because it's kind of a flash farm item. Sounds really weird to say, but you want to spam double edge as much as humanly possible. So having the regen and the magic resistance allows you to just, you know, farm the woods, push the lanes faster, and you're not sitting at like 20% health because you're not taking so much damage from your own abilities. So it's kind of like the greedier choice, but in this case, given the fact that he'll probably eventually make it into a pipe, I think it's definitely worth it because you kind of want it against the Earth Spirit and the Shadow Fiend Requiem anyway. So it's a really nice build for him this game.
Jonas Fan, running up towards the top. TP out from Forev. Yapsor just remaining in the tree line. As Alliance, how's Loader doing in terms of farm? Well, is that the... How much of the BKB has he got done at the moment? It's... oh no, okay, so...
Dragonlance.
Decided to go for the Dragonlance first.
I would actually like to see Alliance put on a little bit more pressure right now. I mean, I know
Yeah.
it's difficult because they just got de-warded deep in the jungle, so they only really have one ward at the moment. But it's not often that you say this, but a team that has 12 kills ahead, they still kind of want to be doing stuff.
For sure, yeah, because Bears, as you mentioned, are keeping up in farm. And we
Yeah.
have seen many, we saw a few games in the group stages where Bears would have to start with it, they were kind of losing blood everywhere, heroes were dying. but it gets to that certain point where they're able to just pick it up. Fada gets to this incredible mass, and they can turn the game on its head. So there's absolutely every chance that that could happen this time round, and they've certainly got the farm built up that's going to lead them the chance to do that.
Man, Limp is walking the fine line here. They might go for a swap play. Nicely done.
Instantly executing the Ember Spirit. At the same time, Alliance will just look to try and get something in return. As they'll push onto the tier 2. Fortification comes out. TP's starting to come back in from Bears. They'll bring Firo over. But they won't be able to stop the tier 2 from going down. So,
well, it's 2 towers for an Ember. I think at the end of the day, Alliance are going to be okay with that. The main issue that
especially if they can
Alliance
fight here as well. Look at this.
Oh, yeah, nice TPs.
Some Vamp. Straining onto Forev. Fada thinking about coming back across. EGM with the lift onto Adam. Loader, Eclipse, and Stampede to move forward here. The Ancient Seal onto Adam, making sure they can't do anything to save the team, but in fact, it's the damage that's coming out from Forev as he chops down 2. Fada just juked it all out with the Shikuchi, and Alliance, they're melting. That time lapse from Fada just saving himself from Limp. I mean, Forev will go down, but Alliance just got absolutely ripped. I mean, it seemed like it was going to go their way. Then they had the Stampede, they had the Eclipse. I guess there's just too many creeps really to tank up the damage from the Eclipse. And they just didn't have the lockdown or control for Fada, as he got free reign and Forev got a hell of a lot of damage out before he went down.
Funny thing is, that was without the Shadow Fiend as well.
Yeah.
Firo was just pushing top. He's like, yeah, you guys got this. You know, I guess it was 4 on 4. Limp revived like towards the end of the fight, managed to get a turnaround kill on 2 of the heroes. But yeah, they were super eager to fight that because they do feel pressured, and it's a very interesting dynamic in this type of game where you feel like you've killed so many heroes, but you still have to do a lot more in order to really secure yourself the game. And that's what happens when you get over eager. You know, you take a fight where you think you're gonna win, fighting into like creep waves and whatnot. The Hood was finished up on the Timber Saw as well, so 4F didn't just instantly explode when they started using spells on him, and what happens is 4F manages to turn around and gets a ton of damage off.
Absor, we caught out here. He really wants to keep himself alive. Look how close he is to that Blink Dagger, and he will do so as he has the haste rune. And again, good job that he did. Blink would have been set back a little bit. Limp as well, looking for the Blink Dagger after this veil. And a few hundred gold away from having that at completion. EGM now just have the 4 staff, so an extra way that he can save his teammates when they get really stuck in these fights. It is just, I mean, this game is so close when you look at the 2 cores from either side. They're pretty much par on par when it comes to net worth.
Yeah, but Bears actually, in the experience department at least, pulled ahead after that fight, and the gold difference is basically nothing. So, given all the stuff that Alliance have done this game, and like the crazy laning phase where everyone was TPing around, getting all those kills, it's still not enough. Like, they need to get like a core item up on the Luna. Maybe he goes for the Manta and finishes that. Maybe he goes for the BKB, whatever the choice. They need something big that's going to tip the scales in their favor so they can start actually pushing down lanes. Because that Weaver, he's got a Deso finish now.
He's going to be
he's going.
You know, he's going to be able to pick off just like a hand scan on the back lines if they don't get the jump on him.
Yeah, it's getting to that point where the supports are going to start to become food. Like if he can't steal Shikuchi, like EGM, he's going to die to Fata like every fight.
Let's see what Alliance can achieve here as they are grouped up. Jonas and Fan wants to try and get a jump. They've been scanned out though. Bears are aware, and they are keeping themselves safe and prepared for an engagement. We have TP cuts TP's in as well. They are without Fada. See if Alliance can get the jump. There we have Limp. First chains, move forward from EGM, forces in, but the swap back's there from Adam. Loader actually popped the Eclipse for that one. So Alliance really
push.
wanted to fight, but Bears, they just played very smartly around it.
Yeah, they want to get the tier 1 mid and potentially Roshan for Alliance. Like that's the hierarchy of the way to success, I guess, is for them to be able to win that one big fight, get Roshan similar to how they did last game. The only difference is their team fight's alright this game. I would actually say it's pretty darn good, but they're just getting avoided by Bears. And Fata just kind of chilling up here. Scan's gonna see him. Very nicely done.
Very close. Yeah, just acting a little late on the info that they knew someone was there. Alliance.
Well, both teams actually scanned there. Actually, yeah, they scanned on top of Fata to see if they were chasing him, and then they scanned on top of him on Alliance to see if he was actually there.
Yeah.
And they both hit. So he just like, oh, okay, I'm out of here.
Bear smoked up, but it was underneath this ward from Alliance, so Alliance not to be caught out by it. There was pings on Roshan from Alliance potentially saying the Bears could be going for that as well, and indeed they are. And
they can't stop this. They don't have Eclipse.
Yeah.
Like they're not strong enough to fight without it.
With the Deso and with Firo's right click, there's very little that Alliance could do in terms of getting there in time. And as she said, even if they did so, not a lot they could have offered. So Bears get the Roshan, get the Aegis, and it really seems to be that this indeed could be another one of those games where Bears, they really don't have the flashiest of starts. They kind of get pulled around the lanes. They're losing heroes, but just the stability in this kind of, as we enter the mid game, has managed to propel them to a point where, even though they're behind in terms of blood and slaughter, it feels like they're ahead, Andy.
Yeah, I think it's about the draft, and it's the way that the game is played. Like Bears, they lost a lot of stuff in the early game, but they kind of, they stemmed the bleeding. They stopped losing so many heroes for no reason, and they started trading at least. And they know that their heroes are going to carry items very well. They have the Weaver who's going to be able to split push. And the dynamic of the game has kind of changed to where now the Weaver is going to start split pushing. And that's another thing that Alliance have to deal with, where they just don't really have that great of heroes to stop him. Like Centaur Stomp is not an instant disable. You really want to blink on EGM. But EGM had to go for the Force Staff because he needs to keep himself safe against the Weaver during the fights. So Blink is like worse in keeping himself alive, but better in being able to get the picks. So yeah, it's getting hectic for Alliance. They have all of their ultimates up now though. They're going to try to look to at least pressure the tier 2. But this is an Aegis Shadow Fiend, so
they can kill him the once at least. As they're moving down the tower. They're not even going to be able to do it once. Ferropos the BKB. Stampede from Alliance as they look to disengage. Fada TPs across. Can they find anyone? On the sideline, Limp has found one. Spirit falling low, but Frev with the pipe keeps him alive. The damage though from Fada as they focus towards ETM, but ETM does get the Shikuchi still. Looks like he should be able to juke this one out. Limp jumping back to safety as well. Yapzor will end up going down as Limp was able to tick him out on the back lines with the chains before escaping. So Alliance do get themselves one kill and don't end up losing anything themselves there, as Firo does use that first BKB charge.
yeah, ended up working out. I was kind of skeptical at first when I saw him BKB because I just assumed that Bears were going to back him up. They're going to fight that, save the BKB for the full life, etc., get the Requiem off. But popping it and not losing the Aegis ended up being the better play because now he's going to have BKB and Aegis again. And instead of having just the BKB and no Aegis, it'll be a stronger fight from the side of Bears the next time Alliance want to try to walk in.
Yeah, EGM. Still that Shikuchi could be nice for setting something up. And
That's the spell that he needs.
Yeah.
He actually,
he wants that every
if he
time.
If he steals anything else, he's going to die.
And they will find the Vengeful Spirit, looking to quickly burst him down as well. In fact, on the same time, they find the chase down onto Forev. They'll stampede and control and bring him down, but with the root, they certainly can. They'll pick up a second Alliance.
Discover what lies beyond.
Nice little movement, nice little setup there, thanks to the Shikuchi Rubik. But again, Bears making sure that they continue to find something elsewhere on the map. Fada and Firo, 12k net worth, both ahead of the Ember Spirit, and just slightly behind Lotus Luna.
The crazy part to me about this whole game is the fact that the tier 1 mid on Bears is still alive. Like, how is that tower actually alive? I felt like they could have just immediately walked down mid after they got those 2 picks and just taken that tower. That thing is so important, especially for Roshan, and just how much map control it gives Bears, being able to quick react from 2 different angles, get to your side of the map that much faster. Like, that tower has massive implications, but you can see how scared Alliance are playing.
Yeah,
they get 2 kills and don't pressure a tier 1. Like, that's...
I mean, they want
are
this tier
feeling
2
it.
bottom. They keep coming down here, but you're right. It's a little peculiar that they're just ignoring the mid lane for now. And at the same
know,
time, Bears are finding the trades, and they're getting it quicker.
Yeah, well, they have the better tower hitters at this point. Like in the beginning of the game, I'd say the Luna team probably has the advantage in pushing just because Lunar Blessing is just so strong if all your heroes are around. But, you get the Deso on Fata, Firos finishes his Butterfly soon. the amount of physical damage of those two heroes alone is more than enough to compensate for your 38 bonus damage on a couple of heroes. So yeah, it's going to get to a stage where Alliance are having to fight on multiple fronts, whereas Bears, you know, they can sit back, they can just keep getting items. Because Aluna is not going to be able to deal with the Weaver during the late game. Might even have a hard enough time dealing with Shadow Fiend. So that's where the Skywrath and the Rubik supports kind of become a liability, because those heroes are very, very limited in what they can do when BKBs are out on the field. They kind of just have to sit in the back and wait for the BKBs to wear off before they can even show their face. Otherwise, they're just food.
Bears now getting confidence, come up to the high ground, will force Alliance to back up and hold the defense here on this top lane. Innocent Fan will be looking for having that Aghanims complete, but he's still away from that. As that will certainly help in these fights. Again, it's kind of especially they can time it around the Rekka and the Magnetize, the big committals of the ults from Bears. Bears are getting bigger and bigger. Firo very close to having that butterfly done. And when you look over towards the side of Alliance, you're not going to have an MKB anytime soon on Loader. So the invasion will be pretty huge indeed. Butterfly and PKB. When he's got that, he's going to be perfect for kind of putting on the front lines alongside that Weaver and taking down towers and breaking high ground.
Yeah, that's another one of the shortcomings of Luna, is when you're getting sieged, it's really difficult for her because she can't really get that close. And oh, here we go.
Straining onto Hanscan, and as expected, just the physical damage from Fada takes him apart. If we can get anything more, trying to move the Centaur forward, see if they can get a Who Stomp, but Alliance quickly out of there. But again, one man down, and nothing that Alliance can really do to react to those sort of plays from Bears. If Bears get their hands on Hanscan, on EGM, they'll just easily be able to take them down before anything can be done in terms of hopes of getting kills in return.
Yeah, at this point, it's a mobility problem that Alliance are suffering from the most. Like, their heroes, except for the Ember, just are very limited in how much they can move around the map. And I mean, they do have a decent amount of wave clear, obviously the Luna with the glaives, etc. But the issue is kind of that they feel extremely unsafe. Like, they're having to stick together with their cores. They're not really effectively farming a ton of the map. Whereas Fata and Firo are both just like, yep, we got BKBs. You literally cannot kill us. They have to burst the hero before the BKB is popped, or they're not getting it.
Yep. And as you said that, we saw them try and do that as they jumped in with a Who Stomp, but of course Firo had the ample time to get the BKB off. And he doesn't lose a single slice of health.
And they're getting ratted at the same time, so.
Yeah, they're going to lose forever, but as you said, this is all part of the plan for Bears. They're like, right, you keep them busy down bottom.
They do not want to lose this tier 3.
I don't think they've got any option. Boulder Smash onto Limb, into the silence. They'll pop the Fortification Alliance. They'll lose this tier 3 there. I'm going to go for the race down bottom though. Loader and Jonathan Fan up to the high ground. And now the TPs start to come back. So Alliance, even though they did lose the tier 3 top, they managed to find the one in return bottom. So they will get the trade. And in fact, Jonathan Fan, they want to try and fight this EGM though. Oh my goodness, Rubik's out. They do get Venge in return, but this damage from Fada is just too much. Triple kill for this Weaver. And as we're saying, I don't know how Alliance can deal with this. With that BKB, with the Deso and the Diffusal, he just rips heroes apart. And there is nothing that they can do apart from hope to stampede and run the hell out of there. But it's a Weaver. He's going to Shikuchi, he'll chase you down, and he'll take you down.
The thing too is he's actually itemizing, expecting that the supports are going to buy Ghost Scepters because he already has a Diffusal Blade. So he's already made the conscious decision to say, okay, I'm not going to go for like the necessarily super hard carry build. I'm going to go for the build that lets me do my job, which is two-shot the supports. And every time that happens in a team fight, Alliance, you can't fight 3v5. It doesn't matter how farmed your Luna is, it doesn't matter how farmed your Ember is, you just simply cannot stick around if Hanskin and EGM are just getting blown up at the start of the fight. You need the extra damage and the control from those two heroes. So this is kind of the biggest concern that I had for picking the Rubik Skywrath together, is that even though it seemed so strong in the beginning of the game, because of how many kills they were getting, there comes a point when push comes to shove that you have to be able to get enough map control to make that matter. And unfortunately for Alliance, they might be losing Hanskin again. Oh, Boulder's gonna miss.
Well, he's going to go for the TP out, but the damage is too much. Fada picks up another. And with the Aegis, Butterfly BKB on Firo, they're ready to go. And I think Alliance, they've got to be considering what options they have in terms of defense, but it's going to be hard for them to find any. It's a fan. It's not to Firo immediately. Yapso with the response. Boulder smash. Firo turns towards the center, tries to bring him down. Not quite enough damage. He'll be swapped back in, but still he's going to be fine. That Rubik a little less so. Spada rips through to the back line, takes down the Rubik. Aegis will be popped. There'll be a buyback from EGM, but Bears, they'll pop the BKB on Shadowfiend. No messing as they take down the top full set of racks and get themselves out. They get what they came for. Nice. Can they
Rubik actually got Requiem.
That's something at least. If they can find the setup to use it.
I mean, if he doesn't die in 2 hits,
yeah,
he might be able to
That's the main problem, yeah.
Yeah, this is a classic, what we would call all-in strategy from Alliance. Like, they're all in on this super crazy early game, high magic damage burst, just get these kills, you know, keep killing, keep killing, keep killing. And then you look at the mid tower that's still alive at 32 minutes on Bears and you go, okay, so you got like a ton of kills, but you didn't actually kill the mid tier 1 tower.
Nope.
So when you have heroes that are gonna buy BKB and they deal physical damage and it's very hard to itemize against them because just the nature of your heroes having no escapes, you just don't scale. Like, your heroes do not scale as well as Bears. And I mean, Forev died a ton, Firo died a ton, Fata even died a few times. Doesn't matter. Gotta kill all the towers, gotta get Roshan, gotta win the game.
Let's see what the plan is from Alliance. Now, Fada. He's actually going to get caught out here by the Hoof Stomp. Do they have the damage to kill him? That's the question. There's the Ancient Seal. They'll move forward. It's a big kill to get, and they'll take it. Fada's streak finally ended. So Alliance bring down the Weaver, and now they set up for push down the mid lane. Finally, that tier 1's going down, Andy.
Yeah, so I think it's a little past due, but yeah, it's better late than never, you know. But that's the defusal nerf right there, not being able to self-defuse. Actually feels so bad on heroes that buy defusal first, not being able to remove stuff like Ancient Seal. It's like one of the most frustrating things. Okay, so the towers are now down.
Oh wait, are they gonna get Firo? He has got, no, the BKB still.
Oh, he doesn't have buyback.
It was oh my goodness. And in the mid
actually
lane,
killing
Loda
it as
just
well.
with this Eclipse.
Oh
What the
my.
hell's going on, Alliance? Have they just done it?
Oh my god.
Bears, what's going on? There's no SF, as you said, 60 seconds he's down, no buyback. I mean, both of the cores died with like their BKB still on cooldown for like 10 seconds. And that's absolutely massive for Alliance, as they've now got this fantastic opening to get a lot of work done in the base of Bears. And Bears, they've got to be kicking themselves, Andy.
Oh my god, that not buying the Reaver and not having buyback on the Shadowfiend? He's only 74 gold short. If he got like 2 more creep kills, he would have had buyback for this.
Oh my goodness, it's going to be 2 sets of racks by the looks of it. A Yapsaur as well as he comes too close. Alliance. Okay, here we go. Fada, can he do the cleanup? Can he rectify the mistakes that were made? Well, with the help of Forev, I look towards EGM. Fada's looking for the bigger kills. He's trying to target Loda. Loda answers off the defusal. Fada continues to chase. Loda get his way out of this. He doesn't have any TP. BKB still unavailable for a few seconds. As Fada, he'll keep going. It's a slow on. With the Stampede, okay, Loda's safe. They'll keep Loda alive. Fada can't find the kill. They do manage to get Alliance out of their base, but not before the damage was done. The full bottom racks going down. Melee racks in the middle lane. And that Alliance should just not have been allowed to be able to do that. That was just a bit of a whiff, and as you said, a bit of greed there from Firo, picking up that Reaver and not having the goal for the buyback.
Yeah, Fata held his buyback, which I thought was interesting. I thought even just him buying back on his own would have been enough to kind of deter Alliance, but he actually held it the whole time. So they are seemingly okay with the way that things turned out, even though Fata and Firo died like back to back. I can't imagine that being something that should happen. Like, if you play the same match 10 times, that probably happens once.
Yeah, that's so rare. Yeah, just to see both of these cores that were massive, yeah, get picked off one after another in a matter of seconds.
Yeah, that was crazy good fortune for Alliance. That actually gives them a shot in the game. I'd say if that didn't happen, it was I would say almost assured that Bears were going to win. And not to say that they can't win now.
No.
But it's a
even.
much closer game than it should have been at this point.
Yeah, Loda got a huge step up from that. I mean, we're now seeing him, nearly 3K ahead of these two incredibly stacked Weaver and Shadow Fiend on the side of Bears. But
Yeah, this is really, really scary now, because it's not just about the fact that, Luna gets another item. It's like now EGM has Blink. Handskin does have the Ghost Scepter. We talked about the Diffusal Blade on Fata already, but, he's only got 2 charges left. And then he's got to finish his MKB to deal with the Luna on top of that. So he can't really afford to go for the second Diffusal purchase. So these items might actually, come into effect in regards to keeping the supports alive. And that, again, that changes the dynamic of how the fight break out. It's like we're going to be walking past the shrine here. No one from Bears is in the area.
Andy as well. I mean, Fira, he picks up the full Satanic. He's still not got that buyback gold. I mean...
Well, this time he shouldn't
do you agree with
die.
that? Okay. Yeah,
that's the thing about Satanic, is that it just makes you so much more durable. And now, because you just lost your racks, that one more fight can just be the end of the game. And having buyback might not be enough to salvage it, because the rest of your team could be dead as well.
But if
you're going to be fighting...
If they catch Fira with this movement... I mean, I guess that they're just going to look towards the shrines as both teams actually just take down each other's.
Yeah, this is the safe move for both sides. And his team was kind of nearby anyway. I don't think they would have actually been able to kill him fast enough unless they, 100% stun locked him. But yeah, I do agree with not having buyback now, just because the state of the game, there might not actually be another fight until Roshan. And if that's the case, then he'll have his buyback anyway. And if were going to be fighting... Yeah. If they were going to be fighting at Roshan and he didn't have buyback, then it still makes sense, because that's the all-in. That's the where you have to win the fight, and having the item makes you win the fight.
Let's see what the plan is next. Bottom lane, yep, so just putting a bit of pressure around there. The rest of Bears backing up, grouping together. MKB is complete, of course, on Fada. Very nice to have, with Loda having that butterfly in hand. And we're actually going to see Fada lead in first. There's jump in Limp, who's going to find, gets the change on to immediate boulder smash. Limp in trouble, he's forced back, Loda pops the BKB. Out comes the Eclipse as well, they'll turn towards Frev, he can't get his way out of there, but the HSL, he's down for 100 seconds here. Can they get Loda? They need to find a kill, and they do. They'll take down Loda, blink out away immediately from EGM, but back in! Jonas and Fan comes in with a 3-man who stop. They've taken down Yapsor. Yapsor buys back immediately, Limp. Remnants away. EGM still trying to come in, but the sentries are down, and that will allow Firo to pick up a double. Now turns his attention towards Hanskin. Hanskin trying to get himself back out. Limp looking to poke back in it again. Jonas and Fan comes in with the stomp, catches out both. He's taken down the Vengeful Spirit. The change is there from Limp. He's still playing around with the idea of going back in, but Limp's so low on mana and health. He's got to be careful. Will finally get out. Firo, can he get anything else out of this one? Yapsor, seeing if he can get the chase, the catch. Watching Jonas and Fan, but the blink out's there. Fada is in the neighborhood though. Jonas and Fan still has blink, unavailable for 5 seconds. Yapsor comes in again, but the Who Stomp's there. They do get the touch from Fada. They're chasing this one, Bears. Is there going to be any backup coming for Lights? He does have Stampede. He gets the blink off. And Jonas and Fan, he should be safe with that as well. Bears can't continue to chase down that kill.
And that was really scary there for a second. They almost managed to get Firo, but he got the Satanic. As soon as the steering chains came out, his BKB was down, but he managed to get 2 or 3 auto attacks off because of the sentry. If he didn't get those autos off, he would have been at 20% HP, and there's a good chance that Alliance could have just won the game. So that sentry allowing him to hit EGM while he was in Shikuchi just kept him alive, 100% saved his life. So that was actually really clutch coming in from Bears. And again, it's showing that their team fight is still ridiculously strong, even though they did give away quite a bit in just the way of, getting those 2 heroes picked off a little bit ago. But Alliance are showing great patience in these fights. Limp staying out on the outside. So is Jonas and Fan. They're just getting multiple stuns off, multiple steering chains. And if the BKBs dwindle down, there's still an opportunity for them to use that crazy magic burst damage that they have to get these kills.
Alliance very much trying to keep vision control around the Roshan pit. Bears are certainly not going to be a team to let them get away with it when it does finally spawn. It is slightly the longer respawn. Just over a minute until we'll see it back up. And then both teams will surely want to contest it. Scan out.
Man, this is so tense actually. I thought this game would have been over by now.
Kind of shout out to Bears ready for giving it the chance to be a bit more even. That play where they lost the 2 cores. As Alliance has certainly reveled in that opportunity. And as you mentioned, just back in this strong position where both teams have the chance to take this game.
The one thing to take note of now is, you know, obviously how the fights go is going to be hugely important, but in addition, the BKBs being lower duration. That's the one thing that Alliance can look to and say, okay, we can abuse our hero strengths a little bit more again, because the 10-second BKBs were tough, but the 5s and the 6 are not so bad.
Set up from Jonas and Fan immediately onto Fodder. Can they blow him up in time? That's the question. No, the BKB comes out. Fodder time lapses. It's fine. GM Shikuchiing forward. They want to try and fight. Fira actually pops the BKB very early because of the chains. He was worried about them getting more out of this one. Jump forward from Lim. Can they catch anything? Bears, they're very scared with the BKB unavailable. He's going to try and charge at the other loader. BKB's just in time. The Eclipse comes through. And Firo can't keep himself alive with the Satanic. He's down. Barev to fall as well as Yapsor. 3 dead on the side of Bears. Farda's out as well. Alliance take 4. 3 buybacks come back out immediately. But the 4 kills, the 3 buybacks, that is going to set Alliance ahead quite a mile in terms of gold. Roshan is back up any second, and this is absolutely perfect for Alliance if they spot it out. If they stick around and see it's there.
They're going to stay in the area for sure. There's no way they leave. Yeah, they're going to see it now. All right, so Roshan's on the table. Again, it's about the BKB durations not being long enough. Like, you're supposed to end the game when you have, like, you know, 10-second, 9-second BKBs on the side of Bears. And, you know, they were kind of on the track to doing that when they walked top. You know, Fata popped his BKB, Fira popped his when they had Aegis. They just hit the racks, they got their objective, and they left. That's how it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be this 5-second BKB fight where we kind of get baited into popping it, and then because Limp has the blink and the chasing potential of the remnants, that he can just chase us endlessly.
Yep.
And when that happens and Eclipse is off cooldown and no one on the side of Alliance is dead yet, you're going to get bursted. It's kind of come like full circle where prior to BKBs, Alliance had a huge advantage. Then BKBs come out and their team fight feels super weak. And now it's low BKB duration, so it's kind of in this middle ground where either team can still take it.
Well, fights like that, I mean, you lose one of those cores again in this 6-minute period for Bears, and it could all be over. Yeah, they have got to be so careful in this window. Obviously, they need to hold, they need to defend from this inevitable Alliance push with the Aegis. With Satanic very close to being complete on loader, but they can't afford to lose any of these heroes. 1 hero down, and GG may be called.
Bears are really kicking themselves for this game. I felt like they had a really firm grip on it about 10-15 minutes ago before those 2 unfortunate deaths that resulted in them losing racks. Just like 2 creeps difference, Owen. Like, that was the difference between them being able to just easily defend that and just losing 2 sets of racks.
Alliance. We'll see how hard they go in with this push. I mean, they still have to respect the fighting power and team fight of Bears. Already loader. Maybe the confidence to come up, but look at the damage. He does fall so quickly to the power of Fudders. He's down to half health. And in fact, with that, looks like the Jimmies have been rustled and Alliance will back away.
He's got money for Satanic now. I wonder if he just buys it since he has the Aegis or if he wants to play it safe. I think it's one of those situations where if you buy the Satanic, you're going for like the super all-in and hoping that you're going to be able to just end the game there. But it's really difficult because you're fighting in the high ground. You know, it's not the same as getting this open field skirmish where they did mid and they were able to just chase them down. You can't really tower dive against what Bears have, so looks like he's going to hold on to his money for now.
Jonas and Fan as well with a completed refresh. I mean, if they can get up in an opportunity where the fortification has already been used, kind of double stampede and just sitting there and hitting the base, they've got such a good window for getting megas.
Yeah, you're not dying for like 8 seconds. Well, maybe more realistically 7 if you don't perfectly overlap your stampedes, but it is incredibly strong, this Centaur at this stage in the game.
And I think that's the thing as well, you know, you said 7-8 seconds, that already is at least 2 seconds longer than the BKBs of Bears. So you've got this much bigger window where you can say, all right, you popped your BKB, you're not actually going to be able to kill us during a duration of the BKB, and that's a huge problem for Bears.
Yeah, I mean, they do a lot of damage, but as you mentioned, the Centaur Eggs is a huge deterrent for them. And without buybacks on the cores as well, oh my god, this is stressful actually for Bears.
And what's the timing looking like on the buybacks? It's still 3 minutes. 3 minutes of very, very tense gameplay from Bears. They need makes it look like that's okay, brilliant swap, and that's perfect. They've taken away the Centaur, and Alliance need that Centaur. And in fact, Hansken, he's been found out, taken down, they'll get a second. That was a fantastic swap from Adam. Centaur came too close, and with no Centaur, Alliance, they really can't do anything for 80 seconds. They cannot stick around near this base.
Yeah, and actually, around the time that the Yonisafan revives, the Aegis will probably be fading as well. Maybe like 15, 20 seconds later.
Yeah.
So that kind of
That
just
was
eliminates
huge.
the opportunity. So now, you know, we're looking at a game where Bears are going to have buybacks again, because I don't think Alliance want to go out into the open field and try to fight without the Luna having the Aegis. So they're going to play it safe. That gives Bears the opportunity to go for their own aggressive play now, because they themselves will be able to buy back on the cores again. They won't have to play this super passive game where they're like, oh god, if you know our Shadow Fiend or our Weaver die, the game's just over. Now they actually have an opportunity to play again. Yeah, that swap play. They went from kind of being in a situation where they should win to making one huge mistake and almost losing, and now another nice play brings them back.
Let's see what they can get out of this. Of course, they are still needing to be a little bit careful. I mean, buybacks is a minute and a half for cooldown. So, still have to be careful about being caught out there. It's going to be like maybe like this 30-second window when the Centaur's up, where still a death could be very painful for Bears. Vero, standing tall, starting to hit onto the tier 3. But the Stampede is now back up limp. We'll get the catch onto Adam. They're going to follow through. Loader turns towards him. They're playing around with the idea, but Alliance, they're being careful. They've got the Centaur back up. They can be a bit more confident with how they look to try and take the fight. And indeed they will. They look towards Adam. Adam kept alive. Has the Loader still on him. They can't quite finish him off. Finally goes down. There's the first Stampede. Alliance, back it up. And oh! Yonis comes in. The BKBs came out in time, though. Vero and Fada got it off. There's the refresher. The second ult. They'll look towards the Earth Spirit. They'll turn towards the Shadow Fiend. The BKBs are unavailable. Fada's blown up by the Remnants.
Oh, no,
Vero trying to get himself away, but EGM on the chase down at the same time. Lim on the side, finds Forever. He'll play around with the Timber Saw. Can he actually finish it off? I mean, he's making him work for it, Forever, with this pipe. Lotus and such, but EGM jumps in. They'll secure the kill, and Alliance now with this opportunity was the buyback. The buybacks are coming back soon. It's just under 30 seconds, but Alliance, they're almost certainly still going to have the time to do a lot of damage. There's no creeps, but hey, who cares about backdoor regen when you've got the amount of damage that Loader has? Buyback from Yapzor. I think Bears will still have another chance to hold, but it's getting harder and harder for them. This game is slipping through their fingers.
I mean, the only saving grace, like you mentioned, is the fact that they just don't have creeps in the base.
Oh, and
it's
if they
taking a
lose
long
Spira
time.
like this, straight in, the swap will be there from Adam. Yonisafan jumps forward. There's the buyback from Fada. Can Bears hold? Stampede comes out from Yonisafan, gets himself out of the base. EGM's left behind. Firo pops the Requiem. They've taken down the Rubik, and they will hold on to the racks. They've got everyone apart from the Timbersaw backup. Timbersaw, Forever holding on to that buyback. But of course, as we saw, again, another bit of the game where Weaver had to use that buyback. 6.5 minutes where he cannot afford to go down. They do still have that buyback available on Firo. But it's getting scary. They went for that push and fight in the mid lane, and we're just seeing the power of the double Stampede. It allows them to get in on the fight, and it outdoes the duration and effectiveness of the BKBs of Bears.
Yeah, that's the biggest issue. Again, like their timing, or you know, power spike, if you want to call it that, whatever, is 10 and 9 second BKBs, not 5. Like, the Ember is very elusive in the fights, and Limp is doing a fantastic job of kind of keeping them in the area, you know, hitting multiple searing chains on the supports, forcing the cores to stick around, because you just don't want to sacrifice your heroes, right? Like, sometimes you have to, but if you can help it, you want to sit around and fight and help. But the biggest issue that they're running into is the fights are going on so long that Alliance are able to come full circle with their draft and just abuse the just sheer amount of magical damage they have to be able to secure these late game kills. And as you already mentioned, the double Stampede, keeping people alive and healthy during the fights, it never should have gotten to this point for Bears, but now they've kind of, you know, they've put themselves in this position kind of on their own merits, you know, and it's them kind of struggling to end it here.
Loader as well. I wonder what he starts to pick up next. He continues to just rack up the gold with the kills and objectives that take in. I mean, I guess
They'll
he's
probably
still
just
got
buy bots.
yeah, bots, Moonshard, still to be taken.
I don't think he really replaces anything. Maybe he gets like Maybe he gets rid of Pike for like MKB, but I don't even know if he needs that, honestly. It's not about him really hitting heroes at this stage. I think it's more about just being able to kill the base.
It's MKB now turn for Firo, so they do have that extra bit of a chance to bring down Loader. But again, as we keep saying, it's I just don't see how they have the time or control unless they do what they did before and get rid of Jonas and Fan. That's really what they need to do. But at the same time, Jonas and Fan does have buyback, so you may kill him, but if he realizes the team's in danger, he'll just buy back and stampede, and you just can't kill them unless they get a good jump. Alliance moving forward. Oh, with the blink, the slide out is almost certainly still dead. No, is he going to survive? Yeah, with the stampede, the damage reduction. Fodder's trying to chase him and will get the kill, but in return, Fodder puts himself in a bad place. Timelapse is back. Firo requiems, but there's no one really too close on the side of Alliance. Loader moving forward with the BKB, and now the Eclipse. They'll take down Adam. They'll surround Firo. Firo's down. He has no buyback available. As Alliance, they'll move forward for more. They continue to chase. Buyback say, it's not that he doesn't even have it on cooldown. Firo actually, what did he bring? He went full in on the MKB, so he doesn't have the gold for buyback yet again, Andy.
I think it's not as big of a deal this time, just because they're kind of, they've already made their bet, I think, by the mistakes that they made during the mid game. But Fata getting super low here, super long searing chains. He actually dead.
He died.
Oh my god, he is. He's actually dead to that.
That's it.
That's
game.
Mean,
that absolutely is. There's no way that Bears can come back from something like that. Alliance have done it here in this series, 2-0. I mean, it felt like a close game, but it also felt like a game where the mistakes of Bears were punished so hard by Alliance. And my goodness, indeed, Alliance there. As I said, they had a fantastic day on day 1, day 2. A little iffy. Day 3 here in the playoffs where it really matters. They're bringing it together. They're playing incredibly solid Dota. And